early on in my son's education, my husband, who's a university educated man, would say to me, he would come home from meetings and he'd say, I feel like an idiot, like I don't understand anything that was said in that meeting. And I realized that we were talking in spec ed language, special education language, and we use a lot of acronyms in special education and then in autism as well. And so he had asked me to make a list of the different acronyms that we were using in a meeting so that he wouldn't feel so silly. So I did that, and then he asked me to add to that list the different pieces of, like, what is visual memory, what is auditory memory, all those things, so that he would have an understanding of what we were saying about our son. And that ended up, I'm not even sure how, but it ended up then becoming an ebook. I love writing. I write in order to find peace with whatever I'm dealing with. That's how I cope, is I write. And so I found myself writing and writing when Kieran was young, and the story ended up not being the story of him, but the story of his education, and what were we doing that I felt was successful, and what were the things that I was noticing. And so with a lot of encouragement, my father and my mom really encouraged me to put this into a book of some sort. And I think that's how the first book was born. It never really intended to be a book. It was just thoughts that might help other people in special education meetings. I wanted to help people navigate the special education system, because it's not an easy system whatsoever. And parents of kids with autism often feel very much on the defensive, because they've had to be on the defensive, or maybe they're more offensive, because they feel like they have to be the ones advocating for their child, or their child is going to get lost in the cracks. And that's a very realistic thing that happens, is if we don't speak, if we don't use our voice, our children could get lost in the system. And that was the been there, done that, finally getting it right. And I laugh because I don't think we're finally getting it right. We have a 17-year-old now, and a 17-year-old with autism is a whole different brand than a 7-year-old with autism, but we just keep working with the principles in mind that we want.